Sorry about my voice. I'm a little sick. I'm going to wait for a couple people to jump in really quick, and then I will explain what we're doing tonight. Oh my gosh. My throat hurts. Hi, Charles. Hi, JT. Hi, Kelly. Hi, that Sandhausen. Hello. Hi, Scary Lady. Moments Live. Hi. Sorry about my voice, you guys. My little girl got me sick, so I'm a little scratchy, but I will make do. Hi, Timothy. Oh, goodness gracious. Yeah, my throat's like dying. Hi, Chaos. I didn't realize till just now, like, how bad it was. Oh, my goodness. I prefer purple hearts. If there was pink hearts, I would totally go for it, but usually purple hearts are do the job. They just do the job. Was my intro too loud? Hi, JT. Hi, Ben. Hi, Cheeky Chops. DM. Susie Q. Hi, honey. I'm so glad you found my channel. Chaos. How are you? How are you? Absurd TV. Hi. I've never seen you before. Hi, Amy Lynn. J Crandall. Boulder Vaughn. Eminem. All right. So, what we are doing tonight is hi, Killer Sniper. Just woke up. It's been a long day. Worked 7 to 3, and I have. Oh my goodness! You need a break. You need a break, bud. Okay, so tonight, um, Hyper Burrito Head. I'm just gonna keep saying hi to everybody because that's just what I do. Hi, D. You all know this by now. Like that's just it's what I do. It's what I do. Hi, Cat Eyes. I love everybody being here. Thank you so much for coming. I'm so excited to see everyone. Hi, Arrow. Hi. So sorry about my voice. It's seriously bad, guys. I did not realize until just now. I guess I haven't been talking all that much today, which is kind of odd for me, but it is what it is. You need more than 7 hours of sleep, dude. Come on. Definitely more. Okay, so hi Kelly. I'd never forget you. I never forget you. I love you so much. Hi Landon, bonjour. Okay, so tonight we are doing a survivor story. Um, you may know him by Jay Crandall. Hi Doobie. Um, he has been with CPP in the family for quite a while now. He reached out and just, said that he's got a story to tell, and I'm going to give him the platform to do that. So, what we are going to do is I'm going to go ahead and mute everybody, and then I'm going to call him. Hi, Scammy, and get him going, and then I will. Who just subbed? I hate this. I hate this. I hate that it's doing this. I didn't see because I don't have my alerts on that page like a durkadur. But I'm gonna get him on the horn, and then I will be right back. Okay, guys.
All right.
So I didn't. Hi, Mooey, DJ, Emmy. I wanted to make sure I said hi, guys. So you guys know him as Jay Crandall. He has quite a crazy story that we are going to hear tonight. So I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to you.
All right. Yeah, there's no easy segue into this, I guess. So
There really
I'll
isn't.
just say, yeah, right. Growing up, I used to every weekend after church, my parents would take me to my grandparents' house. And my grandparents, they were kind of a country farm family, and some of their kids still lived with them. And my aunt and uncle lived with my grandmother, and my aunt had a cousin who was 5 or 6 years older than me. Um, and I guess there is a lot of grooming. You'd say it started off as just kind of really inappropriate, really dirty jokes, like, "Oh, come over here," and we would all like laugh, and
Right.
it you know it was like funny. I mean, I was literally 9 years old, maybe 10 years old, and yeah, so it was just a big funny thing, and he would invite me into his room to play Nintendo, well, under the guise of playing Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and he would have uh, porn magazines all over, and
Oh,
yeah, he
goodness.
would just start. It started just kind of like, "Oh, hey, look at this," and I'd never seen anything like that before because I was a child,
Right.
and it just uh, normalized over the weekends and over months of grooming and kind of normalizing this odd sexual behavior. Um, and then it turned into touching. Um, he would touch himself, looking at magazines, and encourage me to do the same. And I would just be like, "Dude, I'm trying to play Super Mario,"
Right.
you know. Um, so this went on for for a while, and then um, and then my cousin started grooming my younger brother as well,
Oh, my
and
goodness.
so it was every weekend after church, and sometimes it would be me, sometimes it would be my brother, and sometimes it would be both of us.
Oh, my God.
Um, and it was just disgusting. Uh, and then I remember one weekend, um, I think I was probably 11, um, and it was my cousin's birthday on one of the Sundays that we would go and visit.
Mm-hmm.
And one of my other cousins was there, a female cousin, and he took her into his room and locked the door,
Oh,
and
my
they were
God.
in there for hours. And I remember asking someone, I asked my aunt, what are they doing? And she said, "Well, he does this on his birthday. He takes her into his room."
On his, like it's a present, like it's a gift?
I, I
Oh my,
honestly, I don't think anyone in the family was aware.
wow.
They were very, very naive,
That's
very
hard to be
naive.
naive about, you know? My goodness.
I mean, I remember as a kid, I was like, "This is really weird." And because of what was happening with me and my brother, I was, pretty sure what was going on there. Um, and then a little while later, uh, a family moved in across the street.
Take a minute if you need it,
And
sweetie. Please, like, if you need a second, just we can handle. We can deal. Just
okay,
okay. Take a minute if you need it.
yeah. Yeah, a family moved in across the street, and it's a very rural area. So they were just starting to develop some land and put in new buildings, and yeah, a family moved in across the street from my grandmother, and I don't remember his name because everything gets muddled, you know.
Right.
But he was babysitting a boy that lived there that was a year younger than me,
Oh my God.
and some weekends when I was out there, I would hang out with the neighbor, and we would talk about being molested.
Right.
And so, I mean, he had at the very least 4 victims.
Oh my God.
Um, and like I said, people were extremely naive, or I don't know, had blinders on or something.
Right.
Um,
Most of the time when it's family members, they don't want to believe that their family member could do something like that.
well, I don't think a person with a normal brain can't imagine that kind of behavior.
Right.
It's
Absolutely.
yeah, but I mean, like, it was just years of normalizing this really odd sexual behavior, and it just wasn't just me, you know.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
so uh, I need to take a minute.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Take all the time you need. I just wanted to go ahead and let you guys know that things like this are very extremely hard to talk about, especially when it's happened to not only you but people that you know. I couldn't imagine going through what you've gone through, and the fact that you're still standing and that you are still as strong as you are. I salute you, honestly. Um, I'm glad that you're in this community, and I'm glad that you are here and that you're able to tell your story and get these things out. Um, and I'm glad to call you a friend. Um, we've gotten pretty close lately, and I'm very happy that I could give you somewhere to talk about this. You know,
No, I appreciate it. I mean, even though I'm emotional, it's cathartic.
right?
It it helps. Um,
Absolutely. Yeah.
but yeah, my younger brother told my mom, and she immediately talked to me and talked to my brother and talked to both of us at the same time. And then she called the police
Good. I'm glad.
immediately. Um, uh, it was a kind of a long process, you know. My cousin never was handcuffed. He was never in jail.
Right.
So, man, seeing these guys get their silver bracelets, yeah, that helps, you know. Like, at least
Absolutely.
somebody isn't getting that opportunity.
Oh, honey.
um, yeah, so we went to trial, and we both testified. It was, I think they called it like a closed jury or something, but man, I was 13 trying to tell random strangers about this thing that I didn't understand.
Right. Right. And so when did what age were you when all of this started? Do you remember?
I was 9 or 10
When so that's when like the
when
roast and stuff, the jokes started, but when did he actually start
yeah,
touching you?
I'd say it was about 6 months after, like, jokes and just looking at dirty magazines. It very eased into
Like he'd done
kind of
this.
process. And
Yeah.
he had.
And so how old was your brother? Was how much younger is he?
Um, he's 2 years
Oh
younger
God.
than me.
So he was 7 years old.
Yeah.
Oh dear God. Oh dear God. Okay. So how long did it
Well,
take
but
to get
there's one more thing I wanna go back a little bit. Sorry.
No, absolutely. Take your time. This is all for you. This is you.
I appreciate that. What I said about people being naive and having blinders on.
Mhm.
Um, my cousin got me. He brought up the idea of us taking a bath together. I was 11 or 12.
Yeah.
He was 17 or 18,
Oh my God.
uh, and it was allowed.
It was allowed? That was
Yeah,
that was normal?
it happened once, and you could tell that the adults were very uncomfortable and didn't understand it, but they allowed it.
Oh my God. I don't know what adult would understand that. That is no. That's not normal. That is not okay.
No,
That's a big red flag. I don't know who wouldn't think that,
I yeah, looking back, I'm just like, why didn't somebody stop it?
Right. Right. Why was this not a problem? Like, how was this not brought to the forefront until you guys had to come out and say it? You were the children. You were
Yeah,
children. Like, you didn't deserve this. Nobody that gets mentally, physically, or sexually abused deserves it. No one. Especially when you are a child and you can't do anything about it. And you're scared. You're terrified.
yeah,
You don't
and
know what's
yeah,
happening. Like you don't know what's
and
happening.
honestly, like I said, it was this odd normalization of it, and it was like a normalization where you know you don't let anyone else know. It wasn't like said, hey, don't you tell anybody, but it was like, this is like our secret, like, don't let the adults know we're making jokes about, you know,
Really? So
like
is that what he
eating
would
over
say?
here. Yeah, yeah.
So he wasn't doing like the scare tactics. It was more of like, "Oh, this is our little
No,
secret." It wasn't, "I'm going to
he,
tell
it,
on you and you're going to get in trouble."
it was a very different kind of grooming to
Right.
where everything was like almost normal. I'm like, well, it's Sunday. Maybe I can play Nintendo.
So that's how he would just kind of get you into the bedroom was to say, "Hey, come play
Yeah,
Nintendo."
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And nobody saw that as fishy. Nobody
And he would
thought,
always lock the door.
right. Nobody
And
thought to
and
to think twice when he pulled a little girl in the bedroom and locked the door on his birthday, you know?
yeah, yeah.
So, how long did the trial go on? How long was it before he was brought in? So he was never arrested, right?
Right.
There was never somebody saying, you've done this, this, and this wrong. He was just charged.
Yeah, I believe so. I mean, my parents really tried to protect me and my brother
Right.
as much as they could. Uh, although,
Take your time.
excuse me,
Take your time.
I don't remember where I overheard it.
Right.
It wasn't something anyone said to me directly,
Right.
but I heard they don't believe you.
Believe you? They don't.
Yeah,
Who
I
didn't believe you?
I think the jury.
Oh,
I believe I overheard the DA talking to my parents, and would just that
what child would
that
lie about
crushes.
something like that?
I was 13.
What child would lie? So did you have to go into specifics?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I had to go into a lot of detail,
Right.
and then to hear they didn't believe you.
Yeah. Fuck that. How could a child come up with such detailed counts of things that happened to them and tell it over and over and over the exact same way and then hear that from adults that are supposed to protect you, from adults that are your peers and that are supposed to be doing the right thing here, that they didn't believe you?
And they didn't believe my brother.
Oh my God. That
Like
makes me angry.
children don't think of these kinds of things to like frame somebody. I mean,
No,
uh,
no.
but that's the one thing that really bugs me to this day.
Well, yeah, absolutely. It would bug me too. It would bug me too. And that's for
I
the,
will say my parents always believed us.
right. Thank God. Thank God for that. Oh
My grandmother did not believe us. She said it was just as much your fault.
my God. Are you, what? Oh,
So yeah,
no.
our family got completely, shattered, obviously, because they thought that his behavior was somehow okay. My uncle threatened to get his guns and come to our house and kill us.
Oh my God.
Mm.
Let me
So
just tell you this, okay? This
yeah,
was not your fault. This had nothing to do with you. This had, it was completely out of your control.
oh,
This was
I
not
have
your
had
fault.
years of therapy, and it's not my fault for being a child and not knowing what's going on. I was a
Absolutely not.
victim,
Absolutely.
and that's it is what it is. It's fine. It
It's not fine.
happened.
It's not fine. It happened, yes. It is a part of your journey, yes. Have you let it define you? No. You've moved
No,
on with your life and you have allowed something so horrific, so disturbing, so dirty to just be a part of your story, not let it be your story. And that makes you strong. That makes you
yeah,
strong and that makes you compassionate and that makes you an incredible person, in my opinion.
no, I'm all right.
Thank you so very much. Is there so how long did the trial last? Do you remember?
I don't remember exactly how long. Um, I think it took about a year.
A
Um,
year. And
it took a long. It was a long time.
how much of
Um,
that was he in jail for?
Zero.
Zero.
No, no jail. No
Nothing.
jail. He
With
he
four
was found
victims.
guilty. He was found guilty,
Right.
and he got 2 years of probation.
2 years probation. probation. He did not have to be
Yeah.
on the sex offender list.
Nope.
Did any of the other kids come forward, or was it just you and your brother?
It was just me and my brother. Yeah.
Holy shit.
I recently talked to my brother because I mean we're super close.
Right.
You know,
Right.
it kind of in a messed up way bonded us. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. It's not a messed up way. You guys went through a very hard time together.
Yeah. I mean, and again, my parents were great. Like as soon as they could, they got us both into therapy. Um, we had therapy together.
Hmm.
Um, they wanted our therapist kept saying, "Oh, we want to put you in a group, but there's no group for you. You're too young."
Too
And
young.
I don't know. It just made it made it seem like it was more like we were outcasts, even in
Even in therapy, where they're supposed to help you.
right, right.
How is that not,
But
with how many children have been abused and misused and all that kind of stuff? How in the hell are they not trained to deal with children of these traumas?
I mean, not to excuse anything, but this came out in the mid '90s,
Mm.
and I think a lot of things were very different.
They
They
might have,
definitely did not take us seriously.
right. And they very well may have been different. But I mean, this has been going on since for millennia, you know? This is not a
Uh,
new thing.
By the time my cousin was 19, he had at the very least four victims.
For victims. Wow.
At the very least, and that, yeah,
So it was you, your brother, your sister, your
our another cousin,
female cousin,
yep, and one of the neighbor boys.
and the other two didn't come forward.
No, I recently talked to my brother because, like I said, I don't even remember his name now. A lot of my memories are fuzzy and
Right. Well, that's, you know,
but I said, hey, do you remember the kid that used to live across from grandma? He said, oh no, I don't remember that. And I was like, you remember what happened though? He was like, yeah.
so did he abuse you guys at the same time as the neighbor kid?
No, it was never. You know what? I take that back. There were a few times when it was all of us in his disgusting little room. Yeah, yeah.
So was his window covered so nobody could see in?
He didn't have a window.
Really?
It was it's a very small house. And it, I again, I don't know how anyone didn't understand what was going on or see something or
Right.
I mean, there was one night, I don't remember where we were going, but I went somewhere with my aunt and my grandmother and my cousin.
Mhm.
And me and my cousin were in the back seat, and he just starts playing with himself.
What?
And yeah, and then he reaches over and touches me, and he wants me to touch it. And it's all this right in the back seat, right in the back, like literally.
And nobody said anything.
Nobody said anything. Nobody. I don't know if they. I don't know how you couldn't have seen,
Oh
but it's those blinders.
my. Oh my god. Oh my god. That's too much. I don't understand. I don't understand as a an adult. how in the world that could not be front and center, you know?
I don't know how people did, like there were so many red flags,
No kidding.
so many red flags. And uh, yeah, it just went under the radar somehow.
That's too much. That's too much. So, what
And he's
exactly?
still at all of our family functions.
Really? So you have to see him up until this day, like every time?
Yep, yep.
Does he say anything to you?
Oh, he won't.
Good. Good. I mean,
Yeah.
there's I don't understand how two children can come forward about the same abuse and only get 2 years of probation. That makes
I'm
0
not sure.
sense.
I'm not sure exactly what he was convicted on, but I do know he was convicted of something and got 2 years of probation.
I'm angry.
Yeah, I actually got married recent. Well, not recently, but in 2020 I got married um, to a wonderful woman I've known for 22 years now.
Okay, that's amazing. So you,
And my cousin asked my dad if he could come to my wedding.
you're kidding. Are you kidding? You're kidding.
He RSVP'd.
Was he even invited?
No, absolutely not.
How?
No.
What? Ooh, he's got some
And
brass
I told
balls.
my dad, absolutely not. There is no circumstance under which he's going to be at my wedding. So my
Abso-freaking-lutely.
grandmother and my aunt didn't come.
Are you kidding me? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
And just the fact he's around my niece sometimes. He he looks at her.
Oh.
Sorry.
Do they even do they protect her?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. My brother will never let him anywhere alone with her
Oh, it's your brother.
ever.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he looks at her
Yeah.
like she's
But
like some kind of fucking snack or something. Ooh,
I don't
God.
understand why my brother even allows him on his property.
He he goes to his house.
They My brother bought a house in the same town as my cousin. I
Oh,
do not understand. It's everyone sweep it under the rug.
yeah. Don't talk about it. It didn't happen kind of deal.
Right,
Oh,
right.
oh.
Like my dad tells me, well, he'll be there. Just ignore him. Like, Dad, if I didn't ignore him, I would be stomping him.
Yeah. I couldn't even imagine when these guys are getting caught. I literally watch their necks because their carotid artery will start pumping and you can see it. And I just sit there and think,
Hmm.
ooh, if I could just stab you right there, I would. You know, like it angers me so deeply. That they could even think of hurting a child, let alone be a victim of one of these pukes. I just can't even. And for your family to just say that you could just ignore him like he's not there, that's not possible. Could you ignore him when
No.
he was doing things to you? Was it everyone else that was ignoring that was the problem? Do they not see a problem with the ignoring issue here?
I don't understand it. I honestly don't.
There's a problem. There's a problem. You can't ignore something like that. If I ever saw the men that sexually abused me, I don't know what I would be capable of doing. I honestly don't. I would be deathly afraid of myself. So
It's really not easy.
oh hell no. If I was in your position to where I would have to see him. Mm-mm. That's too much. That's too much. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. So, what are some of the things that you feel is important to tell everyone about grooming? What are the signs, the symptoms? What about your story do you want people to learn from?
Keep your eyes open.
Yeah.
Don't ignore the red flags. I mean, listen to your kids, believe your kids, you know,
Right.
do a thorough investigation
And fight for your kids. My God.
and don't I what really bothered me is it was like picking sides.
Right. Right. I could only
And so
imagine.
I feel afraid.
It scares you? Do you think that if you asked them to pick sides, that they would side with him?
Yes.
I'm sorry for that.
My grandmother and my aunt would 100% side with him.
That's ridiculous. That's
Like my
ridiculous.
grandmother said, it was just as much your fault. I think those were her exact words.
How in the hell could it be your fault? How in the hell? You are a baby. You are a child. She was the one that was supposed to protect you from an adult. I don't care who or how they're related. That was for you. You are the child. She is the adult in the situation. That is absolutely fucking pathetic that she would even say that. It's not like you were asking for it.
Right.
It's not like you were a prostitute and you were waving it all around saying, "Here, come pay for it." You weren't doing anything like that. You wanted to play a fucking video game. That's it.
That's exactly it. I just wanted to play Nintendo. I remember him taking the controller out of my hand and just I don't understand.
Oh my God.
It
So
was just an easy lure, and it was like he would try and lure us all over. It was just
I honestly think that your grandma knew and still knows to this day that he has a problem. For her to sit there and say that, oh, he does that every year for his birthday. Is
yeah.
Was it just every year
Yeah,
with that cousin?
it's not. Yes, that was our only other cousin on that side of the family that would visit. And yeah,
And how old
yeah.
was she?
She was actually a few years older than him.
Okay. But it was still incest. It was still
Yeah,
wrong.
yeah. It was, and I mean, I can't say when any of that started. I just know that one day, and I knew what was going on.
Right.
How did the adults not?
Right.
How is it normal to take two kids into your room and lock the door and not come out for 5 hours?
That is not normal. That is not normal. My kids don't lock their doors ever.
Yeah,
That is not a
yeah,
normal thing. Even my son, he's 16 and he wants his privacy. I don't ever knock on his door. I don't have to even worry about him being in here saying something that I wouldn't approve of. I just don't understand how it could be some sick fucking birthday present or some accusation like it was your fault. That makes me disgusted. And that makes me very sad for you because that is pathetic. Pathetic. How many times or how many years did you go to therapy for this?
um, I mean, I need a new therapist now. I still have nightmares.
So you have PTSD or C-PTSD?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'm diagnosed all sorts of,
Yeah.
yeah.
So you deal with the anxiety, the panic attacks, the depression, the self-loathing, self-sabotage, the trust
Yep.
issues, all of that.
And I understand the whole, don't feel guilty. It's not your fault.
Mm-mm.
I was the older brother, though.
I understand that.
I didn't protect him.
You couldn't. How could you?
I didn't know what was going on, you know. But that's the one thing that the other thing that really really hurts me is I just, even though it wasn't my fault, it wasn't my brother's, it was nobody's fault but my cousin, you know.
Absolutely.
I should have stuck, I don't know. It's just that mentality that I want to protect him, you know.
Absolutely, but how could you? How could you be expected to? You know, you can't put that on yourself though, sweetheart. Like that wasn't you. That wasn't something that was completely out of your control. That had nothing to do with you. You were trying to protect yourself. You had no idea what was going on.
Yeah.
I mean, how could how could you even think of somebody else even though it was right there, even though he was your brother, how could you possibly even think of anything else when what was happening to you was happening, you know?
Yeah.
So don't blame yourself at all. That's just it's not possible for you to have done anything differently. It's just not, you know? It's just not. So what is
and
it?
and there's another thing too that I just about like watching all these catchers all the time, catching people like just so frequent, like it's such a frequent problem. It happens so often.
It's everywhere. Everywhere.
I mean, when I was older, I had my whole family sit down and we all talked about sexual abuse.
Mhm.
And my father um, was the only one of us that hadn't been sexually abused. I'm the
Really?
oldest of four.
Wow. Were the others abused by
Every
him?
um my younger sister was abused by my stepfather
Oh
for a
no.
brief amount of time,
Once is
and
too many
my
times.
younger hmm
One time is too many times.
yes, exactly, yeah. And my younger brother was sexually assaulted by one of our neighbors, a kid that I grew up with, a kid I called a friend.
Wow. That's usually
I
where it
mean,
comes from. People that you know.
it, yeah.
I mean, it's
So like,
very
it's just such
rarely,
a widespread problem.
it absolutely is. Absolutely. Very rarely is it a situation where you don't know the predator. Um, with abuse, with C-PTSD, with chronic abuse. And Matt asked, "What's the difference between C-PTSD and PTSD?" Um, what it is PTSD deals with one traumatic single event, while C-PTSD is associated with repeated trauma, anything from an accident or sexual assault or traumatic childbirth or losing a baby or issues like that. It's one trigger, one memory, one smell, one thing that will bring everything back up. Everything.
Yeah.
Or if it's like me, I just think of it every day. It doesn't have to be triggered. I think of it every day while looking at my kids' face. I think of it every day while thinking of what could possibly happen to me, my family, my kids especially, it's every single day, and that's why I have such bad anxiety. Um, but I can attest, I'm sure that you have the same thing, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm on prescriptions for anxiety and
Right,
bipolar and
right.
general. Yeah. Also, yeah, I have a whole laundry list of fun stuff.
Yeah, and for you to be able to deal with this, it's almost like you have to split it into this is what happened. It's a completely separate part of who I am, you know? Like, yeah, it happened
Yeah.
to me, but like when I'm decoying, I have to pretty much act like this is just a role I'm playing. I have to completely compartmentalize my real life from that life.
Yep. Compartmentalized. That's exactly it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. It's it's difficult, but again, like what's your other choice, you know? Are you going to let it consume you and let it be something that happened to you or something that is you, you know?
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know. I said that one time to another one of our supporters, and she was just like, "Wait, what?" I'm like, "No, no, no." I'm like, "No, I didn't explain it well enough." And like, she's like, "I think we're at a crossroads. Like, I think you're saying that people that are abused are asking for it." I'm like, no, 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 that's not at all. She actually, I started crying. I'm like, no, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to offend
Oh,
you. Like, I'm just like, I'm so sorry. But yeah, it's different when it comes to chronic and repeated, offenses. And, there's additional symptoms that come along with C-PTSD. Um, it's it's anger. It's you're delusional towards the world. You're disassociated sometimes. Um,
well, it's like you feel like you don't want to be naive anymore, so you're hypercritical.
right, right. I mean, I go to Walmart and I'm just like, you could be a pred. You could be a pred. Quit looking at my daughter.
Yep.
Maybe I should get
Yep.
your license plate. It makes me freaked out. It does. But what are the other options? I would rather be overly zealous about the way that I am looking at this world than be naive and let something happen to my kids, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a very difficult balance between it all. Um, Especially when you have to live your day to day with something like this and have to go to work and function as an everyday person when you're battling something that's so horrific, so cruel, so debilitating.
Well, that's where the compartmentalization can come in handy, you know?
Right. Absolutely.
And you hit one of those triggers, and then you're like, whoops,
Yeah.
just opened a floodgate.
Yeah. And it takes, I mean, hours, if not days, to pull yourself back.
Yeah.
And then you sit and wonder, how much time did I just spend on that? How much did that just take from me? Why am I allowing this to happen over and over? But then it happens again, and you're just right back there. There's just nothing. There's nothing that you can do. And that's why it's CPTSD, is because it catches you at the most vulnerable minutes of your life, and you crumble. There's not, it's not like you can say, okay, I'm strong now. I've, I've gotten over this. I can live my life. I can be, level headed and my mental is okay. That doesn't happen because,
That would be a lot easier if I never had to see him again.
oh,
But
oh,
it's like, he'll be there on Christmas.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I couldn't imagine having to see him all the time. That would just be that would break
Like, I
me.
mean, it's not all the time. It's, a few times a year, which is way,
That's
I'm
too
good.
much. That's too much.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't want to see him one time. Nonetheless, like a few times throughout the years, and have him try to RSVP to my goddamn wedding. Like, really?
Yeah, he tried to RSVP to my wedding. You know, he never apologized.
He never
He never
apologized.
said anything at all. He never, no. But he wanted to come to my wedding.
Yeah, to watch the
Um,
happiest day of your life. Like, he deserved to be there just because he's in
I,
the
I
family.
just, yeah,
He doesn't deserve anything but a bullet and an early grave. That's the only. He has a special place in hell, just like every one of these bastards do. And I
yeah,
can't wait. I can't wait until they're at the gates and saying, "Oh, well, I was good." And they're like, "Nope, you hurt a child. You're gone." You know what I mean? And I pray to God that that's what happens, you know? I can only that's within my heart of hearts that that is what my faith is. My faith in humanity, my faith in God, my ultimate standing in life is that these guys will pay one day. There's nothing that can be hidden about what they've done. One day they'll pay. I don't know. It's just too much sometimes. But I am so.
he did actually. I mean, he did go to prison, but it was because he robbed a bank.
Oh, oh,
But
oh, dear
he
God.
did go to prison, and I felt really good about that. I was like,
Yeah,
he's behind bars. He has consequences for his actions.
yeah.
Ah,
No matter how it had to come about, at least
right.
something happened.
At least he's been in prison.
Right. And maybe, just hopefully, he got the same treatment. Hopefully, he dropped the soap one too many times, you know? Like, hopefully. That's all you can do is just pray that karma will happen and something will happen to make them feel the pain that you feel when they're damn well there's not it's not possible. It's not possible that they could ever know what they have put you
Yeah.
through. I just don't understand. And the fact that your family is so divided on this is just beyond me. It's just
That's always blown my mind. Like what I just don't understand how you think it is the 13 and the 11-year-old's fault
right,
for what the 18 or 19-year-old was doing.
right. But then again, it's like you were saying, it started when you were 7 and 10, or 7, 8,
Right.
9, 7 and 9.
Nine.
So it's not like it's it's not like it was, oh, you're a teenager, you know, your sexual frustrations, everything's awakening in you. You're just trying to kind of find yourself, your sexuality, and you were experimenting. That is not what happened here. You were
No,
not
not at all.
experimenting. It was
It was
forced.
exactly, exactly. Like I literally was trying to play Nintendo. Yeah.
Yeah, you were just trying to be a kid.
Yeah.
You were a kid, a
Yep.
normal kid. So when you how often did you have to go over there? Like how many ballpark, how many times was he able to get to you and your brother? Do you think?
50 times a year,
A year?
every Sunday, basically. Yeah,
Oh, oh my
for
God.
years. Like I said, it was this odd, it like normalization of sexuality. It really screwed with me and with my brother's head.
I wouldn't I wouldn't doubt that for a second. Not for a second. Oh my God. Did you ever tell your parents I don't want to go?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
what? They just said you had to?
Yeah. That's just what we did after church.
Oh, No. No.
I remember when everything came out, my dad said, I should have listened to you. You kept saying, I don't want to go over there.
Right. If they only knew, you know? And I guarantee that they, as parents, feel so responsible, you know? Because they're supposed to protect their children just as you feel like you were responsible for your younger brother, which you're not. I bet that
Yeah,
they
I
have
know
that
my
same.
mom felt very guilty. She felt
Yeah.
very guilty, maybe ashamed. And again, it wasn't her fault, but
Right.
because she had gone through the same thing with one of her family members,
She should have probably seen it.
she put that's how she felt. Yeah, that's
Right.
what she said to me. Yeah.
That's how I would feel as well. That's exactly how I would feel. And I was raped when I was, 17, 16, 17, and 27. So, I mean, I wasn't abused on a normal basis. So, if that ever happened to my daughter, I know I would feel responsible, or my son. Period. End of story. Want my kids, no matter
Yeah.
what age, if that ever happened, it would break me because I feel like I have taught them. But then again, my mom taught me. My mom taught me, and I still was in that situation. As much as I didn't want to be, as much as I didn't know what was coming, I still let myself go there. It's nothing that you can train for. This isn't something that, you expect ever
Kids don't
happen.
have the ability to see around corners the way adults do.
Absolutely not. There's no
And thinking about
consequence.
the consequences. Yes.
Mm-mm. Kids don't understand consequences. They just don't. They don't know what will come of their actions, what will come of, them not saying something or having the courage to say something. And I think that that's what makes us compassionate. That's what makes us strong is the fact that we do have, we get that passion and that capability to finally say like, look, this has happened. And I mean, what else would you do? There's nothing that you could do other than finally say, look, this is happening and hope that somebody helps, you know,
And believe you.
and believes you. Most of all, believes you. Oh my God. So do you have children now?
No, no.
No, not yet, or just no kids, or
I've, the wife and I have been talking about adopting.
that would be amazing. But so you do have a niece, you said?
Oh, geez, I have a lot of nieces and nephews.
Oh, really?
10 nieces and nephews. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, wow. Is that your wife?
That's my wife, yes.
Hi,
Hi.
how are you?
I'm great. I'm so glad I could say hi to you.
Mhm.
So do you guys get to spend a lot of time with them or
Yeah,
that's awesome. I love kids. They're so bright
yeah.
and shiny and, you know, just like that look in their face that everything's brand new and, you know,
Yeah.
And he's
that
her
look fun.
favorite uncle.
Yeah.
She takes good care of me.
Oh, yeah, I'm definitely the
You're the
favorite
awful
uncle.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're the bestest uncle. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Oh, I'm so happy about that. But see, that's what makes me know that it didn't ruin your heart, you know?
No, no. It'll stifle you for a while. It'll confuse you for a long time.
Hmm.
But I think you can always you climb your way back up, you know?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it takes a long time, especially to be able to admit that something has happened to you and be able to trust again. Um, but once you do, it you're able to move past and find that, that life, that love, that happiness that you really deserve. Oh man.
Well, I really appreciate you, giving me a
Absolutely.
little platform to say my piece. I really appreciate that.
Absolutely. I'm so glad that you were brave enough to come and tell your story. That's just I thank you from the deepest part of my heart. Thank you so very much for being so courageous. Um,
Yeah.
I know that everybody will be able to learn from this, and people might, I know that a lot of the people in CPP, they always say that watching these guys go in cuffs, watching these things happen,
Oh,
it's
it's so
therapy.
good.
Yeah,
Oh man, it really is. It really
yeah,
is.
absolutely. I mean, it's the best feeling that could ever happen because I wasn't able to get justice for mine, you know.
Yep. Yep. Exactly.
So it
Exactly.
really does mean a lot knowing that, we're making a difference in this world, and it's not just the team that goes out and does the decoying and catching and all that. It's everyone. It's everyone that is spreading our word and our work and our love for kids. And that's just we appreciate everyone that comes and hangs out with us, gives us a little bit of their time. It means
Yeah.
the most. So I just thank you so very much for sharing your story. I really appreciate you.
Yeah. Yeah. It's I'd say it was my pleasure, but it wasn't all that pleasurable.
No, no, I completely understand. Absolutely. I get it. But will you guys please throw some hearts in the chats? Is there anybody that wants to ask any questions or
Yeah, I'm watching the chat if anybody has
okay.
any questions or whatever.
So Boulder Vaughn says if this abuser is still free, then he should be in jail. So let's put up the signs in the neighborhood. I don't think. Do you think that that would make a difference because he did get 2 years probation, so it's not like he could be retried for this.
Right, right. No. And honestly, there is no neighborhood.
Okay,
It's very, very rural.
right.
Like when we would go there on the weekends, it was a dirt road. Like it recently got paved.
Okay,
Very rural.
so it's not like you could really spread the word. It's not like it would go far.
Right, exactly. Exactly. But it really worries me because by the time he was 18 or 19, he had at least 4 victims.
Right.
Like a lot of these guys that get caught, they've got a lot of victims, you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, and even if they don't, like me and Tommy and everybody says, there are predators that are real that target these children and go after children specifically. But then there are just these men that are opportunists and they'll screw anything that walks, you know? And
Yeah.
then
That,
there are
that's
the
just,
men that are real men and they block us or they get us banned from the accounts or they tell us you should not be on here, you should not be doing this, and they there's that very small percentage that say no.
yeah, when I'm listening to some of you guys talking about your decoy work, sometimes I'm like, man, I kind of hope he's a good guy and he's just going to like say, you're an underage kid, go hang out with kids and block you.
Right.
But yeah,
You'd
I,
think
I
that.
always hope for that.
Absolutely. And I hope for it too. As much as I want to look at that phone and go, okay, age dropped, say something, like be okay with it. I'm rooting that they say no. I'm rooting that they say, are you kidding me? Stop this. What are you doing? But I just don't
Right.
get that
You're going to
enough.
get hurt.
I don't get
Like
it
if
enough.
people actually like wanted to like get the kids off the apps, like they're saying every time they get caught, oh, I came here to tell her to get off the app.
Mm-hmm.
No, you just tell her get off the app, you block her, you never like
Don't be a part of
what
the
is wrong with
problem.
you? Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. It doesn't make sense to
Yeah.
sit there and hang on to a little 14-year-old minor child just to teach them. Teach them what? The only thing that you can do is be the better, bigger person and say, don't do this and block them. Don't do this, get the count ban. I get that, but I just don't see it enough. I don't see it enough. And it burns my soul. Like it literally burns so bad. And I just don't understand why. Why in the world, how in the hell can they think that this is okay on any level? Oh, God. And then the ones that go on and talk sexual, the ones that are just like, oh, no, we can just be friends, like throat goat or
And then
whatever.
they slowly ramp it up,
Yep.
try to normalize the sexuality with a child.
Yep.
Like, disgusting.
Absolutely.
Disgusting.
Absolutely. That Dustin that we caught the other day, the throat goat, everybody keeps calling him. At first,
Yeah.
he's literally in my phone. Dustin, meet me, no sex. That's literally what he told me at first. We can be friends. We're not talking about sex. None of it. I'm like,
Right.
all right,
And how long until he got to that point?
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2
Yeah.
weeks. And it was no, we're not talking about sex. How's your day? How's your day? Oh, good, glad. Oh, I'm just doing laundry. And then one day it was, I'm doing laundry. Wish you could be here. Let's fuck. Like it was bad. And it went from 0 to 100 just that quick. And I'm glad we found him. I'm glad. I think that it was probably the best outcome I could possibly ever ask for to find the father-in-law first.
Yeah.
I think that was I wish like hell we could do that every time to find a family member first and get them to bring them in, you know? I think that that would be like the ultimate because that family member is going to go, "Wait, what?" and then tell everyone, you know? I mean, it's wonderful to have them do the call, but the way that that one worked out, that was epic. I loved it. The
Yeah.
girlfriend was there,
Oh,
the
yeah.
father-in-law took a picture with Cooley. That was awesome.
That picture with Cooley was good.
I know. I know.
That was pretty.
Yeah.
You know that Pred shit himself.
Oh yeah. Prove that you're at my father-in-law's house. Okay. Here, let me take a picture with
Boom.
a 6'3" dude with a freaking bulletproof vest on.
Uh-huh.
Oh, we're here.
Yeah.
My heart broke for the girlfriend though. You know, it
It's
just
the
broke.
ripple effect these guys' actions have, man. It's all on them, you know?
Absolutely.
Like,
Absolutely.
it does suck. They're in the way, but if he didn't, it's the
Yeah, if he
predator's
hadn't
fault,
done
man.
it, she wouldn't have been there in the first place. If he hadn't done the actions, and then for him to sit there and blame it on being a sex addict, so what? Be a sex addict. You got a girlfriend, dude. What the hell are you talking about?
Right. I mean, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Buy one of those real dolls if you're that hard up. Like,
Right. Right.
what are you doing?
It's it's go get you a pocket pussy. It's not that hard to figure out another way than to go for a child.
Yeah.
It makes no sense to me. No sense.
And again, like I have nightmare. I had a nightmare last month or a month and a half ago. You know, like it lasts an entire lifetime just for these guys to get off one.
One time, two times, anytime. All of it is wrong.
You'll ruin a kid for life.
Absolutely.
Mess up their relationships. Mess up their relationship with their own sexuality. You know, like there's
Absolutely. Absolutely.
you're a kid and you're developing. You
What are
can't
you
deal with
supposed to
all of
think?
this.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I can only imagine. I know that there aren't as many women who abuse girls, but when it comes to men abusing boys, there's too many. And I can only imagine how much it does mess up your own mentality of your own sexuality. Like this
Yeah,
happened.
yeah. It really, like, there was a long time. I'm like, I'm not gay, but this happened. Yeah, and when you're a kid, when you're a teen, yeah, it messes with your identity.
Yeah.
But like I said, my parents were amazing. Instantly, we were in therapy, and they did not let us out of therapy.
That's the only way to be. The only way. And I can imagine that it was really hard for you to talk about.
You know what? By that point, it was like I talked to my mom about it. I talked to the police about it. I talked to the DA about it. I talked about it in front of a jury of strangers and a judge.
Right.
You know what? it doesn't matter. I can tell you. I don't know you.
Right.
Whatever. Here's what happened,
Yeah. Yeah.
It,
Ugh.
it gets easier to tell.
Right. Right. And the fact that the story doesn't change, that's what makes it even more, you know, heartbreaking because you're not lying. You're not lying. You're not making up any kind of part, any memory, any detail. None of
But
it
I
is a
mean,
lie.
what would a child get out of lying about that?
Right. Right.
Like, what's the positive?
Right. I
Like,
can see if it was
um,
like a little girl and she was like, "Huh, I hate this wife or this girlfriend that he has." Maybe I'll say that she's a bitch. Maybe I'll say that she did something, but not sexual. Not sexual. You
yeah,
don't lie
I
about that.
mean, even kids in my school found out,
Yeah. Oh,
and
great.
yeah, it was just like really, really weird for a long time. Just
What was that
people
repercussion? Like, what
looking.
happened there?
Um, well, uh, I was in homeroom one day, and this was like a week or 2 weeks after the trial, and some kids had asked, how come you haven't been in school? So I told them.
Mhm.
I was like, oh, I had to testify, and I told them, oh yeah, no, my cousin molested me, and again, it was like I had just been telling everybody, so it wasn't like it was that big of a deal right then, and you don't really have the emotional IQ to, like, I didn't break down about it. It was just what happened.
Right. You get
And
numb to it.
yeah. And then one day, when I was in homeroom, there was a little, like, really thin partition between our homeroom and the next class.
Mhm.
And I went over to the partition. There was a little door, and I heard someone talking to another person in the other room. And they were like, well, yeah, I was going to ask him out on a date, but after what happened to him, I'm afraid he'll rape me. That was what,
Really?
what one of the girls in my class said. And then it kind of hit me. I shouldn't be saying this to people. I definitely shouldn't be saying this in school.
Ooh, ooh. Wow. Do you think that she was just getting the attention from what you went through? Do you really think that she
She
was
was,
actually going to ask you out? Or do you think that she was just saying it because, that was there and she had something to talk about?
oh no, I definitely had a chance.
Oh, wow. You're like, oh, no,
I,
no.
but yeah, yeah, it was just odd hearing someone say that. I didn't realize all of the negative stigmas somehow. It was like, well, I just have to be honest about this. And then I was like, oh, maybe I don't have to be that honest.
Right, right. Because unfortunately, people will look at you different. And especially when they sit there and think that, oh, well, they were abused, they're going to abuse me. That's wrong. That's so wrong.
Right,
I know that
right.
that happens. I get that that happens. I understand fully. But when you are
Well,
so
again, she was also a child, so I mean,
right,
you can't really blame, you know.
right. I get that. I do. But it's just the fact that that's out there in the human mind because that's what my brother's girlfriend, my brother's ex-wife said that about my mom, about the fact that she could not let um my nephew come over without supervision because my mom was abused and that she might abuse my nephew. And that was the furthest thing from the truth. The furthest.
That's that hypervigilance.
Right. And I know that there are times when the abuser or the abused become the abuser, but she knew who my mom was. There was no
Mhm.
chance. There was no chance.
Yeah.
It was mostly something to hurt her by because she didn't make it a secret. She wasn't just telling my brother. She was telling everyone.
Mhm.
And so that's why I question whether or not she was just saying that out of just having something to say or if she really wanted to take you out on a date. Because people are mean. People are women,
Yeah.
especially girls, not women,
Well,
girls.
eighth grade girls are
Yeah.
mean.
Oh, yeah. High school and prepubescent girls are the meanest people I've ever met in my life. And then the ones that grow up, that become adults, but they still act like that. Ooh, 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 boy. I cannot stand them. I can't stand them. They treat their they treat their children and they make their children act the exact same way. The exact same way,
Mhm.
but twice as bad and it makes me so angry. Ew, I hate it. That's like one of my biggest pet peeves. Like, you're such a bitch and so is your kid. Like, like you got something
Oh.
wrong with you, man. Like, it makes me so mad. I hate it. Especially when I have to deal with it with my daughter, you know, and knowing
Mhm.
that the mom is just as superficial and fake as they come, and knowing damn well that she made her kid like that. That makes me so
Mhm.
angry. You want better for your kids. I don't get it. I don't get it.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
never will. All right, dear. Well, thank you so very, very much for coming and talking to us. I I appreciate you so very much. I am so very sorry for what happened to you. Um, but I see through that. I see that it's made you, whether or not it was a horrible thing, and it was, it's made you who you are, and it's made you that more compassionate and that much more loving. Um, so I thank you. I applaud you for being so courageous and coming on and telling us that. I really do.
Well, hey, yeah, like I said, I appreciate you, letting me speak. Yeah.
Absolutely. And as you know, I'm always here to talk anytime.
Oh, I know. All right.
All right,
Yeah, if
honey.
I need you, I'll DM you on Discord or something.
Absolutely. I'll be there.
All right.
All right. You have a great night, sweetheart. I'll talk to you probably tomorrow in the live. You'll be there.
I'll be around.
I'm sure you will. You will. All
All right.
right.
Take care.
You too. Thank you so much.
Yep. Bye.
Bye bye. Oh my gosh. I couldn't imagine. Oh my gosh. Um, so cheeky chops, I kind of am I able to call, especially right now, and just be on the live to give a yeah. Actually, Cheeky, can you DM me over your phone number in Discord or email it to me and I will call you right now? No, you can't. Or let me see. How would I get a hold of you? You don't have Discord? Could you email it to me? Okay, that'll work. I will check my email right now. All right, all right, all right. Let me see. Okay. So, what did you guys think about that? Like, isn't that horrific though? What happened to all of his messages, guys? Who timed him out? Was that an accident? Right? That's what fuels my decoy work too. Is knowing that maybe, just maybe, I'm able to save one child from having that happen. It breaks me just thinking. Okay, so I have the phone number. Let me go over here. Okay. All right. Okay, hold on, guys.
Hello. Excuse
Hello.
me. Hello.
Hi.
Hey,
How are you?
I heard. I just saw the chat before, and they were like, "Somebody timed me out. Who timed me out?"
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there. I'm sorry.
It's all good. People do that all the time. I'm kind of like a little troll sometimes, so But I
Eh,
don't mean it.
we love you.
That's just how I have fun.
Yeah,
That's
no,
just
I
how I
I
have fun.
understand. Like I do that. Like I've had people do that, but again, like when you're doing it, especially on your phone, when you tap that message, you can accidentally time people out so quick. It's so easy to do it
Yeah,
on
yeah.
accident.
That's all right. No harm, no foul. So I don't know like where to like begin my like. Can I like share or I don't
Absolutely.
know like make it brief or okay.
No, just whatever.
So I don't know where to start. Like, should I tell you like where I live or where it was or like what like background or
So let's see. Let's start with like the state probably would be the best idea.
okay.
Um,
So well, I'm born in South Africa, believe it or not,
oh wow, that's
and
crazy.
yeah, I have six half brothers,
Okay.
and three of them are from my mom and three of them from my dad in previous marriages,
Okay.
and they got divorced and had me.
Okay.
So I have three of them are my mom and three of them are my dad, and one of them on my dad's side, um, when he got divorced, he something maybe have gone a little bit wrong with him, I
Mm,
guess.
right.
He's blamed this and that, and he just very like selfish and like a kid that would take it the wrong way, right, and go to the extreme, I guess. Like not liking his half brothers and always problems in the family and things like that. And
Right.
he's one of the oldest ones. They're all like, I'm 38 now, but so they're all like 15 years my senior. They're like 50, I don't know, God years old, whatever. And um, he came from South Africa to live with us, and because we were in New York,
Right.
and he came to live with us. Um, I'm not going to name his name, all right?
Right. Absolutely.
Um, yeah, I mean, I'm talking to my brother.
Right.
This is kind of
Yeah.
crazy, right?
Right. Yeah.
All
I
right,
understand.
yeah. And it's just the whole dynamic of like, oh, do you say something, whatever, or you do something, and it's like that affects like the whole family dynamic, and like, why would you do that, or like, it's bizarre. But I'll tell you, I'm trying to like get half of it. He used to live with me. I was about like 12 or 13 that age when he came,
Okay.
and he used to live in my dad's house and with my mom and me, and he always used to coach soccer, right? That's
Okay.
how he's a different kind of predator. He's a predator that um doesn't, well, I guess there was no online back then, right? But
Right.
he would go into places where kids were, like
Hmm.
the gymnasts, like the I don't know, that Olympic
Just
thing,
like
he would be the
gymnastics
coach.
and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, he would be the coach, right?
Okay.
and he would, you know, he was a soccer coach. He was coaching me and my friends and older, and he would get very into it, and he would, because South Africa is a very communal place and things like that, he'd say, "Oh, come over." He always knows the parents. They go to dinner. He becomes the best friend. That is his life, is the kids. Like he's, a typical guy that like lives through the kids, so to speak.
Like
The
Larry
good guy.
Nasser.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That piece of shit.
Yeah, the Olympic coach
And
that raped all those girls. Ew, God.
yeah, yeah. And he would um befriend everyone, and basically like the master groomer, right?
Mhm.
The master groomer, right? I come from like pretty well-to-do, intelligent people, right? And
He
he's
had
just
his
like,
way. He had his charm,
yeah,
I guess.
he, he not charm. He doesn't have charm, but he has like I don't know, gaining people's trust, and I don't know.
Right.
I don't know how to describe him. He's like an anomaly. But
Right. Other people might, when they meet him, find him charming, intelligent, and like to talk to him, right?
yeah, yeah, I guess. I
Right.
mean, I, I think he's just a loser, a
Psychopath.
bottom.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
no.
yeah. So I'm, yeah, and he were to then have some of the soccer team like travel, right? They were to travel to hotels, they were to travel to whatever, and he would eventually get these kids to have sleepovers,
Oh my
right?
God.
A whole group of these kids, like together,
Right.
right, would be over at the coach's house, right, so to
Mhm.
speak. And I don't know what exactly has happened and transpired over years and years and years, but eventually my best friends didn't weren't allowed one day. All of a sudden one day I got like, I don't know who or what, it's so long ago. All of a sudden I wanted to have sleepovers with my friends, right?
Mhm.
And all of a sudden their parents wouldn't let them,
Oh.
right? Yeah, all of a sudden one day I was like, nope. Um, my parents, and oh God. And then eventually, like the word got out, I guess, and people would be like, "Your brother's like, tried to touch this guy's penis and like, the whole 9 yards and things like that."
Oh
And
my
he
God.
would somehow, yeah, and he would somehow um, keep this up, and he not only was soccer, but like he used to manage one of the boys. He actually died of from Dream Street. Do you remember? I don't really knew, it wasn't that popular, but Dream Street was like a boy band that was gonna go like really. You can Google them. They're
Okay.
long ago. Um, and Dream Street was like a little kids that were gonna get famous and things like that. He was the manager of one, and he did the same thing to that kid, right?
Mhm.
And he almost like got in trouble, but they couldn't prove it, right? Because there's no electronic surveillance, so to speak, at that point in life, right? So
Right.
they can't prove anything. So he was always on the brink of trouble, on the brink of this and that. But the thing is that it, you know, I've never been molested, but because of that, that destroyed my life,
Oh yeah.
right? Nobody wanted to have anything to do with me, right? Because of that. And I was known like as like just like oh, like he, like almost like I was attached to my brother or whatever.
Yeah, you did
And I
his
was a kid, like,
crimes.
yeah, and eventually like girls in high school didn't want to have anything to do with me. They thought I was like some sexual predator and things like that. And it just destroyed my entire life for like growing up as a kid. I never went to graduation. I never went to prom. I never, all these kinds of things.
It
And
impacted
it's
every
just
every facet of
everything,
your life.
everything, everything.
Oh man.
Like, mentally, like, uh, and it's odd because it's like I never was molested,
Right.
but it just goes to show you that these people not only impact the people that they're actually doing it to, they're impacting a whole other,
Oh yeah.
you know, like, you know,
Yeah, especially when
and
like people start looking at you differently over something you had no idea about. Good
yep,
Lord.
and you want to know the truth is that nobody wanted to have anything to do with me,
Mhm.
so I became like a loner,
Yeah.
right?
Oh yeah.
And a loner that was like sexually frustrated because no girl wanted to, like,
Yeah. Oh yeah, I
you
can
know.
imagine.
It,
Yeah.
it was like for a kid that like was like going through puberty and then like 17, 18 years old and like nobody wanted, I was,
It
it just
overcast your
destroyed.
life. Yeah.
Yeah, it just really did. And not so much today, right? I'm a man now, and
Right.
you know it's okay, but
I
it
get
just,
it now. Yeah.
but yeah, but and you want to know this? I didn't believe this for a long time, right? I
Uh-huh.
was like, you got like, I don't know. I just denial about my brother, and all of a sudden, one day, like long into it, he was a coach in New York City for a soccer team,
Mhm.
and he had this Mexican um, kid that he frequent. He always gets the star of the soccer team, and he makes nice with their parents. This guy was a very poor Mexican guy.
Mhm.
Okay, no father, poor mother from the Bronx,
Right.
and because he has so much money, he's a very rich man. And at this stage of like 40, 50 years old, he used money to literally, the kid moved from the Bronx with his mother. Imagine a kid moving out of his mother's house. That's all he has is a mother.
Mhm.
And she can barely make ends meet. And then that kid went at like 10 years old, or whatever, I don't know, 10, 12 years old, and lived for basically the rest of his childhood with my brother.
Oh, wow.
And he would buy this kid everything and anything that he wanted. I mean,
And he was
ridiculous.
abusing him?
He lives in the tree. He lives in the Trump Tower, right across
Wow.
from what used to be Bruce Willis.
Right.
Okay,
Okay.
and so imagine like he used his money at that point when he had made money,
Mhm.
and he used it to like the ultimate again groom and to take a child away from his mother,
Yeah. What he
and
thought was
literally
a
the
bad
mother
situation.
and the mother, I think I should shoot the mother, but she's like, oh well, he can give him a better life, so take him. I mean,
Oh,
I feel like that's just giving your
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 kid
son
away.
away,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
and to a chomo,
Yeah. Yeah. Did she know?
nonetheless. Like I said, I would never go or ask. Yeah, I'm like to me, and then I think it's also guilt. It's like, should I have called the police? And a lot of people like in this community would say yes. Like you're like why wouldn't you? You have like, but it's like what that would do to my life with my father and my
Mhm.
mother and things like that. Even though they totally are on like the good person side, it's just like that's their son, and it's like
It would crumble your family.
yeah,
I get it. I get
it's
it.
it's so yeah.
I
So
understand, but I mean, I
he
don't think
he
that it's
he
your responsibility to, I mean, obviously it would
I didn't
be
know
nice, you know what
if
I
it
mean?
was true or not.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly. It's more of a
I just,
responsibility of his victims to report it. You didn't know
yeah,
100%.
I just, I've never witnessed anything, right?
Mhm.
I've never, whatever. But there was, I, there was one time, right? And I'll never forget this. It was the most disgusting thing and it's ingrained in my memory. We were like on the West Side Highway. Um, I'm not going to get too I'm actually
Right,
getting
yeah.
too specific, but
You are on a
okay,
highway.
excuse me. We were like on the Hudson River somewhere, and there's places on certain streets
Mhm.
near the river where you can sit outside and enjoy the river, get yourself a beer, da 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 da. So me, my brother, this little kid, and a few of the soccer mates
Mhm.
are now having dinner down there because I was just happened to see them or whatever, and I'm like, oh hey Brian, okay, and
Oops.
he's like, have some fries. Oh shit, I just said my brother's name. Oh my
It's
god.
all right. It's okay.
All right. Anyways,
Anyways, yeah.
whatever. If he hears it,
It's okay. Yeah.
that's
Just
on him.
yep, 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 yep.
So, um, he was eating
Mhm.
and like kind of like with his mouth open, and he said there was something said about like a dick or something like that, and he just gave some answer. I forgot what he said, and he gave this grin and smile that I could see his teeth, and like you could see like Satan,
Yeah.
and at that point you could. He was like so happy and like, oh yeah, like he was like gonna come in his pants. Excuse my French.
Yeah, no, of course. Yeah. No, I get it.
You could totally see that he was
It
just
excited
like
him.
yeah, totally. Like I will never forget that. And excuse me, I don't know what's going
You're fine.
on. And that day forward, I knew that everything that happened in my childhood, that people were to be like, "Oh, your brother's this, your brother's that,"
It was all
was
real.
it was all real.
Yeah.
It was all real.
Oh
I'd
man.
never forget that. And what's even worse is like he had like a little bit of like yellow stained teeth when he did it, and he looked like some
Like
monster.
demonic.
Like I'll never forget that demonic, like a little bit of like stained yellow teeth or something like that. I was like, you are a nasty motherfucker, man.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa. And you know what the funny part is? I got so weirded out. I started to look down underneath the table, and I like when they started talking, like when my brother starts talking anything like that, I would like look down. I was like, I can't
You
even look
can't
you
even look at him.
in the face. You know what I'm saying? And then
Mhm.
immediately I got so like bugged out that I was like, oh, so, like I got something, like I gotta go, like
Made up some excuse to just leave. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I couldn't, you know.
You couldn't stand looking at him anymore.
Yeah, it was fucking repulsive, dude.
Oh man.
It's like an imprint of his face, like that'll last a lifetime. Like I was like, oh my god, man. Like
Yeah.
the little kid said something about like, oh, like something, I don't know, like something like, oh, like you suck my dick or something like that, and then and Brian was like, ha, yeah, it kind of like thing, and then he like
Oh.
gave the grin and like something like that, and I was like, oh my god,
Oh
like what
my
the fuck, dude?
god.
You're talking to little boys, dude.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing, man?
So
Like,
the soccer team was full of boys or girls?
yeah, boys,
So is your
gay,
brother gay?
homosexual, yeah. Uh, I don't, I don't, I honestly think people that do things like this are anomalies that are like attracted to children, like
Oh yeah.
specifically,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
you know?
It's more than just like a chromosome or a mental health issue. It is so much more than that. So much more. It's like they are
Yeah,
literally born this way.
yeah, which is, and then I have a really soft heart, and I'm like, if people, murderers, rapists, there's obviously something that tells them that's okay, or that's what I want to do, or that's what I
Mhm.
like, and that's in itself sad. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? That whoever, uh, whatever chemistry came up in their
In their
whatever,
genomes. Yeah.
God, whoever, whatever happened, I ultimately feel bad for even the drag. Like everyone's like, yeah, and I'm too. I have fun. I'm like, kill the chomos that are fucking, that's
Yeah.
cool. But ultimately, I'm saddened. I'm
That it's even real, that it's even a
for them.
possibility.
For
Yeah.
them, I feel bad actually for them,
Right.
because it's like, oh my god, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Like what would it be like to actually be like
I feel
that?
like it's evil is within the person that they can't help. I don't,
Right.
I don't, and you feel like, wow, like. You know, they're obviously not thinking the same way that we do. They don't have the same thought patterns. They
No.
don't, you know,
Right.
and you can basically see all these catchers that every one of them looks the part,
Yeah.
plays the part, right? They're all odd. They're all off.
They're
They're
all
all
loners. There's always
social,
something mentally
yeah,
messed up
loners.
with them. Yep.
Yep, mentally disturbed,
Yep.
things like that. And it to me, it's the same as a mentally disturbed person that's just mentally disturbed, and people feel bad for them,
Right.
or somebody that's mentally retarded and they can't, to me, it's the same thing. And
Yeah.
I feel like we're all human, and I feel ultimately sad for these people. And sometimes I'm like, I want to say something, and I know the chat wouldn't agree. You know what I'm saying? Not
Just
agree,
say
but
it. Don't hold
yeah,
back who you are, though.
just the alternate side of things, when
Right.
it's not like, oh fuck you, you chomo, and you'll like, and I also think like,
How
okay, this is
sad.
like maybe born in them, but
Right.
whatever happened to giving people a second chance, or trying to rehabilitate them, instead of
Right.
like, and somebody said in the chat that it's a statistic that they can't be helped, or most of them can't be helped, and I totally would probably agree with that.
Hmm.
But at the same time, you want to, like,
There's possibilities out
you want
there.
to help humanity.
Right.
You want to take
Right.
these idiots and be like, how can we show you or help you, or what has happened to you, like all these people that have been molested and all
Hmm.
that kind of stuff. Like, how can we? But some people carry scars that cannot be erased.
No.
You know what I'm
Anyone
saying?
that's abused
Yeah,
has that scar. Anyone.
yeah,
I
yeah,
fully believe that. I can testify to that. But I do
yeah.
understand where you're coming from. Like it's got to be something so deeply ingrained in them, because they actually think that they are like the LGBTQ community. They have their own flag. They
I
call themselves
Yeah.
maps. They think that this is just a sexuality. Like it's just a thing.
I also think there's ones that are like just beyond the pale though. Like,
Hmm.
do you think there are ones that are like, oh well, they're young and they won't say anything, and I can manipulate them, and I just want to like just sickos. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like, just people that, you know. But
absolutely.
I feel like most of the people that you catch are like halfway decent. I don't want
They
to say
could
halfway
be
decent.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like,
they could be
they could
normal.
be there. You could see, yeah, you could see, like, they didn't want to like rape the person and hold them there and handcuff them and
Right.
beat them to death and then rape them while they're dead. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they're
In
not
some
truly
perverted,
evil. They're opportunists.
right,
That's what we say. They're
right, opportunist,
opportunists.
yeah,
Yeah. So there are
and
people
then
that are
that,
they're
yeah,
strictly predators and they go after children, and that's just their preference. But there's also
but
opportunists.
right, and then I think, do you not blame them, but like, we're animals, right?
Right.
And primal thing says, like, when opportunity comes, take it.
Right. Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, opportunists, and you know what I'm saying? And
Right.
it's so bizarre, life. It's like,
Right. And that's
it's
I
so
think
hard
that
to.
I agree with Errol. Like it's a situational thing. It really depends on the factors of each person and what they've done, yada yada. But I can tell you that these guys, they have absolutely zero problem talking sexual to what they think is a 14-year-old girl. They have zero problems telling them what they would like to do to them, how they would like them to do it. They want to, like Boomhauer. Boomhauer will ask me
Yeah, he's
permission.
crazy.
Yeah, he will ask me permission to pleasure himself to my photo, which these photos are me, plain and simple. They look exactly like me. The only thing that has changed is I look younger. That's it. And so it is my photo. He asks to pleasure himself to my photo. Then he asks for me to help him finish. And then once he's finished, he sends me a photograph of it. So there is
So
no help
weird.
for him. There's no help for him. And not only has he
Yeah,
reached out to me, but three other decoys of ours.
what is, yeah, right, like the guy that like gets caught, but like, or will keep going, and like, just
They will reoffend.
crazy.
Most of them, 90% of them, will reoffend. There's not a harsh enough punishment for these guys. There's just not. Unless they are in
You
prison for
think
the
that
rest of their lives, they will reoffend.
Yeah, you must like they must be so sick. Like the like any rational person would, even if they were like desperate for like wanted children and things like that, you'd be like one plus one. If I get caught, I could go to jail
Mm-hmm.
for crazy amounts of time. I am gonna get BF'd in jail.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, maybe the logical person would be like, maybe I'll just try an 18-year-old or something that's just the bare minimum of legal. You,
Right.
you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, I don't
I
understand what
don't
it is
get it.
about a child that they could possibly think is sexy. Like they're not there's no curves, there's no form, there's no common sense, they have nothing in common with a 14-year-old girl or child, period. There's nothing that makes sense to them being
It's
sexy
so
or
disturbing to
beautiful or
listen to that.
yeah.
It's so disturbing when they try to like these are grown men and you're listening to them and they're trying to talk on the level
Mhm.
of the child or like what you're giving them, which is basically like child's talk, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Is is just like how can you as a man like how can you find that attractive?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. There's no curves.
Like
I don't
yeah,
understand.
you're like help me with homework. You want
Yeah.
to help me
Yeah,
like what?
exactly.
I want to talk to you about life and where we're going and
Yeah, let's talk
what
about
the
what our
future,
kids
you
would
know,
look
and
like, not let me get you pregnant
yeah,
so
I
you
mean,
can't
my
leave me.
God. Oh my
It's
God. Well,
all
I guess it's
it's
just sexual. It's
disgusting.
grooming, right?
Yeah, it's about control. 100% it's control.
That it's funny you say that. Who I was telling you, know, my brother and whatever.
Mhm.
He would like because he had money and things like that. He would control this kid like I've never, you know. He'd be like, "You fucking well get me this," and do you know what I'm saying? Oh my God. I was like,
Right.
Brian, that's not even your kid. Like,
Right.
what are you swearing at? Like not somebody's child for and telling you to fucking get this and fucking get that. I was like,
Holy
oh my
shit.
God, I should have just kicked his ass.
Well, I
But
mean,
then
then
you
you
know,
would
it's
have
like the
to
complications of
have a
that.
charge,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
It's not
The
worth
worst,
it.
the charge wouldn't be that bad. The backlash of like my father and
The funny thing
you know,
is
like
if
just
you were charged with assault, you would spend more time in jail than he would if he was charged with soliciting a minor. Do you know how
like
gross that is to me?
they they called child protective services. I think once whatever to investigate in New York City for my brother. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
you know, I've never seen it. I never whatever, and I also I almost don't understand the kids, but I'm I do understand because they're just kids. But me at that age,
Mhm.
I would have screamed bloody murder if you came near me, and I would have told the DA, the ADA, and all of his cohorts what you were doing to me
Right. Right.
at any age. I would have been kicking, screaming, and you know what I'm saying. You wouldn't have done
Yeah.
that to me.
No, I
So
mean, yeah.
sometimes I wonder like why don't these children like if they're feeling uncomfortable and again like the guy that was just on the phone like I don't mean any disrespect I was like and he was in a whole different situation so he's not even that's not even relevant but
Mhm.
I figure like why don't these kids as soon as a kid feels uncomfortable or something happens to them um I just can't like scream you know,
Yeah.
when you get a boo boo, scream. You know, if
Right.
somebody's trying to take you away, scream. Let mommy and daddy know that you're in trouble.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
But on the flip side, like they don't when you're in that situation, you don't know what to do. You don't know how to take care of it. You don't believe that anybody will believe
You're right.
you, you
I've
know,
never had it
especially as a
happen. Like so,
child.
I can't talk. Right? I can't talk.
No, and that's
And
I'm not saying
in
like
that
that.
situation, no,
I,
I'm saying once you're in that situation, I shouldn't speak. You know what I'm saying?
right, but
I'm
I mean, you're
you know
just speaking like that's your truth. That's how you feel. And your truth is actually
yeah
absolutely valid no matter what. But you're right. Like why can't we do that in that situation? Why? Why is it so hard to come out and say I was abused? I'm being abused. Like it's
yeah
difficult. It's because this is why, okay? You feel utterly responsible for it. You feel like it is your fault. You had to have done something, said something, looked something. There's has to be a reason why this is happening to you.
I just figure and I'm talking for me, I would just rationalize it like, did I do anything, or was
Right.
I just playing Nintendo?
Right.
If I was just playing Nintendo, right? Obviously you get the reference, right?
Right.
If I was just playing Nintendo, and
Yeah.
somebody was like, "Oh, do this or massage me" or something like that, I would be like, well, I 1 + 1 is 2 for me, and
Right.
I would, even at that age, I would say, I'm just a kid playing Nintendo, and now somebody's wanting to play with my feet,
Yeah.
and
Right.
that not like, I couldn't rationalize me being the guilty party.
Right. Right.
Do you know what I'm saying? It's
No,
kind of
I
like,
completely get that.
if I was naked and I was trying to like massage this older guy or whatever that I
Right.
didn't know, and maybe I could feel guilty,
But this
but
is the
not
thing.
if I'm just a kid.
Here's the thing. I don't care if you are an adult, okay? And you are walking down the street completely naked saying, "Hey, I'm horny." Guess what? That does not give anyone the right to take it from you. Not nobody.
100%. 100%.
So it doesn't matter
100%.
like what you could have done if you didn't ask for it, if you told them no, if any kind of hesitation on your part of what was happening, they should have stopped. If they didn't stop, it was rape.
100%. Can I also? This is kind of like embarrassing, but listen to this story. And I'm an open book, right?
Yeah,
So
of
you're just
course.
gonna get like, maybe I hope no one judges me or like hates me of this, right? So I have watched this, and no one can jump to conclusions, but when I was 15 or 16 years old,
Mhm.
I was charged with sexual misconduct.
Okay.
Okay, I was charged with sexual misconduct. I I'm the drummer,
Oh, shut up.
right? So
Sexual
I
misconduct and rape of a child are completely different things.
yeah, no rape. It was completely consensual. But he just listen to this, right?
Okay.
I was just hanging out with my friends, and they were at a country club, okay? And one of my friends' country clubs, and I went over there
Hmm.
and basically met a girl that was at the country club. I was like 15 or 16, and my friend that was like 18 introduced me to her, right?
Hmm.
And she was a kind of like, I don't want to like I don't want to say the L word, but like promiscuous. There you go.
Little
There's the
loose.
politically corrected.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, like the loose cannon, kind of like the
Yeah.
loose. I don't want to say. Yeah. So she's a very promiscuous
Right.
young girl, and we started to talk. Okay, I was 16 because I remember the car. It all happened in a car.
Hmm.
Okay, so I was driving a car. So I was 16 years old, and we met, and she wanted to just I don't know, like,
Mess around.
you know
Yeah.
yeah. So I was a 16-year-old kid. I didn't know exactly her age. She was 2 years younger,
Hmm.
you know,
Right.
and she did whatever, and she also like did it to a couple of other people at other times. Okay,
Okay.
all of a sudden, she was bragging to her friends on the phone. Okay, because I guess whatever. I don't know why. This is just a story.
All right.
She was talking to her friend like, I'm not a supermodel. Don't worry, I'm not.
Yeah.
She was a young. I was a young. She was a young girl, and she was just talking to her friends about it,
Hmm.
bragging, whatever. Maybe not bragging, saying to you guys or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
Irrelevant, right?
Whatever. Yeah.
and she was talking, and her mother was on the phone
Uh-oh.
listening.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, and
Okay.
and again, I don't. This is true story. So it's like I don't ever want to like toot horns or like country clubs and this. Just,
Yeah.
I'm a normal dude. Okay, so
Cheeky Chops is cheeky for a reason, right?
exactly. And what happened was her father was the mayor
Oh.
of the town that I lived in.
Oh no.
Okay, so he had political clout or whatever,
Right.
right? He could get the job done, and he went after all three of us.
Oh
We
no.
got taken out of like how old are you at 16? High school. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we got taken out of school in high school by the police, by detectives. They knocked on the door and they said, I forgot exactly how it happened, but eventually I was taken down to their lair or whatever, the police station, and I was like, yeah, we hooked up, we
Right.
hooked
Yeah.
up, and it was cool. It was,
It is what
I
it
can,
is. Yeah.
yeah, I was like, hey, I just hooked up with it, and because she was like 14 and I was 16, it's,
Oh
so is that like, am I and then I want
no.
to ask all of you, is that a predator? Am I
No.
a chomo?
No.
Like, my
Not
God,
at all. No, you
you
were a
know,
child
that's also
and
something
you
that
were having
screwed me
fun.
up royally.
You were having fun with somebody that was your age. It's not, so what? She was 2 years above, 2 years below.
But
In
the
Utah,
law
that's
does
legal.
not.
It's different.
But
The law is
it
different in
wasn't.
every state,
I was
though.
charged. I was charged with sexual misconduct, and I believe it was like a girl. Specifically in the statute or something, it referenced. I believe, I could be wrong.
Uh-huh.
A female, meaning if you touch a female under the age of 15 or 14 or whatever it was,
Right.
then that is a problem or
Right.
whatever.
I
But
get that.
I said, hey, at the time, the legal age, I believe, and because I went to court and things like that, I wanted to know, and my father and all that was concerned,
Mm-hmm.
was 18.
Right.
So if I'm 16 and she's 14, we're two minors that can't. And she raped me then.
Right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah.
It was both consensual, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was more consensual on her part than my part, because
Right.
like, the girl kind of gives it up, right? The guy
Right.
doesn't dictate that. The girl has the gold mine,
The go
right?
hound. Yeah.
She's the
Yeah.
gold, the diamonds, right?
The
The girls are the
diamonds.
diamonds, right? So,
Well, that's so
you know,
it wasn't forced. It wasn't, you didn't
no,
pressure
not at all.
her. It wasn't anything like that.
Nope,
You were not in the
nope,
wrong then.
nothing.
Absolutely not.
I am the most gentle person that would never think about uh, conning or any kind of thing like that.
Misleading or
When I'm
anything
with
like that.
a female, I treat her so loyally. I say, "Is that okay? Are you okay?
Right.
I love you." All that kind of,
Yeah.
I would never dream about, any kind of nefarious thing. However, I was arraigned with two other dudes
Mm-hmm.
in a small town at the time in New York, and charged.
That's
Do you know what I'm saying?
insane.
And eventually it was dismissed, and you know what I'm saying? Like, it was a knock on the, a slap on the wrist. But
Right.
the whole school knew about it.
You want to know the
You know what I'm
same
saying?
thing? My friend had the
Yeah,
same
and
thing happen to him. That's funny that you say that.
really,
Yeah. What happened was they were both in school, same age, whatever. Um, they went to the same high school. They ended up hooking up, and she went oral on him, whatever. And she after they did
that's what
that,
happened.
yeah,
It's exactly. There was no intercourse with me. It was only
right,
that.
right.
So
After that happened, she
we
didn't
were too
like the
young
fact,
at the time. We wouldn't know what to do.
right,
That's the problem with that.
right. But she didn't like the fact that she gave it up, and everybody kind of knew about it. So she turned around and said, he forced me. So he ended up getting a sodomy charge. Can you believe that shit?
Oh my
Sodomy.
God.
Everyone knew.
When I
Everyone.
hear that word, I am just
Yeah,
flabbergasted.
I know. I
I'm
know.
like, how is that humanly possible to like, how can you be just like, you're in that, like, that's just
Yeah.
like the number two, you're gonna rape somebody in the number two, you're just like,
No, it
you need to
wasn't.
be
It was
chopped down.
oral. See, okay, sodomy
Oh,
refers
oh,
to anal or oral intercourse. Explains on this case,
I didn't
Georgia
know that. I
sodomy,
thought
blah, blah, blah.
sodomy was anal sex.
No, it's anal or oral. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
okay.
pretty stupid,
Weird.
right?
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
You're so welcome. But yeah, they classed it in a different sex class or different class of charges because it used to be like we all know the story of Sodom and Gomorrah, right? And that's where it comes from. It comes from anal sex from way back when. And so when they put that law into effect, the
That's
fact that
another crazy fact.
right?
I never knew that either.
You didn't know
Sodom and
that?
Gomorrah. Oh my
Sodom
God.
and Gomorrah.
No.
That's where it comes from. Is sodomy. It comes from Sodom and Gomorrah. It's in the Bible. Um,
Oh my God.
you're welcome for the whole. I'm not
I had to just
65K
write
and
it down.
I don't do the whole, anatomy class thing, but still. That's where it comes from, is from Sodom and Gomorrah. But yeah, that's
Craziness.
the fact that, and that's how they would refer to it, as anal sex is sodomy. And they also wanted to refer to it as, oral sex as well, because that's what gay men do. Honestly, I think that that's why that is in there. But when it's forced like that, is where it comes into effect with being illegal. Obviously,
Could I ask you a question?
absolutely.
What do you think of the whole Christian, like the deacon, or I don't know. I'm actually Jewish, so I don't know much about the other, but the priests that molest boys.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think that men have they're the ones that were genetically made up to go chase,
Right.
right? So
Right.
they have testosterone. Their natural instinct is the hunter,
Right.
right?
Yes.
And
Their
oh
general
God, lost
makeup.
my train of thought.
Men are generally made up of being the aggressor. It's always been like
Right?
that. They go and hunt.
They have
They
to be,
kill.
right?
Yeah, right. They're the protector. So yes,
It's
when it comes
basically in our
to
DNA.
right, right, absolutely. When it comes to um, them being the aggressor and them being in a position of faith and power and being looked at as a heavenly, um, innocent kind of person, that's where it takes into effect of them abusing that. Um,
Right, but can you like I don't want to get too much into like religion, but the fact that they have to stay celibate is
mhm,
going directly against the natural cycle of a man.
right, right.
He
But
like I don't know what I can say and what I can't say, but I tell it like it is.
you can say whatever
When a
you want
man
here.
doesn't have sex, okay, when a man doesn't have sex
Hmm.
or a man doesn't masturbate for a long period of time, he gets built up
Frustration.
um frustration hormone. It is chemical.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
And when you're asking, they're like, well, why do the priests da, 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 da? I was like, because they can't have sex. I was like, why do you think it's happening? Why do you think that the molestation is happening like that?
exactly.
Because they can't have sex. You're going completely against the whatever. You don't see and like Jewish rabbis. Or I don't know. I'm not too religious. I don't think you see too many Jewish rabbis having a
Nope,
problem
because
as you
they
do
can
the
have
priests.
sex.
Just because they can, they have, they can have 30. They usually have 30 children.
Right,
These
exactly.
rabbi, the whole Jewish thing is have as many children, and that's just the family, and is extremely important to them.
Right.
But when you look at the Christian faith and priests, and they're like, oh, these guys are just sick. And like priests do this. It's not because they're priests. It's because of, I believe that their religion is
Hmm.
is completely
It's
not
irrelevant.
coinciding
Right.
with the natural. You're asking a man not to have sex. It's like you can shake a champagne bottle so much before it explodes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
You
that's a
know,
good
and
analogy.
I feel like I just
But do you
I don't know. I
know?
feel like a
I
lot.
I think that that's why they go after the boys, is because they cannot impregnate the boys. Um, I think that that's why
Wow.
a lot of nuns get pregnant, because it happens. It happens a lot. Um,
Crazy.
That's why
I've never seen a pregnant nun.
you have, well, no, they have
No, I
their
am
own.
not. I am
No,
not.
absolutely not, because they have their, when it's in like a setting like that, they have their own doctors that can take care of it. But they don't believe in birth
Oh my
control. Some
God.
people, some religions, I don't know about all, but I know that some of them don't believe in birth control, like Mormons don't. I'm in Utah, so
Hmm.
that's like the big religion here. But that's
Yeah,
where
for
like
sure.
FLDS and all
A
that
good
kind of
friend of
stuff.
mine moved out there. They were Mormon,
Uh-huh. Yeah, I'm not Mormon. Just
and she's.
FYI, everyone.
Oh, okay.
I'm not
Okay.
Mormon. I drink, I smoke. Oh, I drink soda. I don't drink alcohol, but I smoke. I wish I could drink alcohol, but I have kidney failure, so those don't mix
Oh
like at
no.
all.
Sorry to hear that.
But well, whatever. But yeah, so I'm not, yeah, I'm not so much into organized religion. I'm spiritual. That's what I go for.
Me too. Me too. I totally agree with you on that. Um, I just I just sometimes think society doesn't understand sometimes, or puts blame in a wrong. I don't know how to verbalize this. Like puts blame for things that maybe if you just try to like understand
Oh
a
yeah.
little bit more of what's happening, you could say, oh well, like maybe it's not such a bad priest. It's like he's just he just lost the game. Like he like the game he got dealt was a shit sandwich.
Right.
He's
Yeah.
like trying to be godly, but a man with balls.
Right.
At the same time.
Right.
And now he's got to go underneath the radar regardless because he's not supposed to be doing this, right? Regardless whether it's a child or it's another this, he's not supposed to be doing this. So maybe he goes to the child and now starts to abuse children because it's easier, they won't tell,
Right.
or
You can mold
whatever.
the
You know what I'm
kids.
saying?
You can make them scared enough for them not to tell. And that's where the control issue comes in. They want to control them. They want to be able, because if a kid thinks that they're going to get in trouble, or if the pred is going to get in trouble, or if the pred is going to hurt their family, they won't say a goddamn word. Nothing. Nothing. And so that's where it comes into the control. They know damn well they couldn't control an adult like that. They know it. That's why they go
Yeah.
after children.
My in my situation, that was exactly the thing. He knew that he could manipulate the younger folk, and he just knew exactly how to do it, exactly how to get in there, and you know what I'm saying. Oh, be
Mhm.
the soccer coach, but take
The
care of
position of trust.
the yeah, the position of the trust.
Mhm.
Invite their friends or invite their parents over so that their parents feel comfortable with you and realize, yo, you're just a good guy. And then just be like, oh, well, the whole team's coming over because in sports and stuff like that,
Yeah,
it's not
it's a
too uncommon for
camaraderie.
like a coach to
Right.
hold an after thing for the children or whatever like that, and maybe their parents will pick them up because and then maybe 9 out of 10 of them will leave, and one of them will be left. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Or two of them will be left, and then it's gonna go on, right? So
Mhm.
that's when it's super cunning, super sick.
Right.
The smarter they get, the more I'm repulsed because it's like I was also watching someone else's channel that does this, and I saw one of the sickest dudes I've ever come across in my life. He was like a guy that wanted to like impregnate. He wanted to. I'm sure you probably have seen this. Like he wanted to drug the father or something, like the adult, so that he could take the other child away and then impregnate her and then like marry her and then have kids and then go back to the mother and be like, oh, like I love your child and we're good and so like you'll accept me, right?
Mhm.
Like that
Yeah.
is on another level. Like you're gonna start to like drug the like you want to drug like are we in like
To kidnap? We're in a movie,
yeah
right? It's a movie.
where are we, man? Are we in some like third dimension?
Yeah.
Like holy cannot, like that was on another level. Like most of the time it's like they're just horny and they want to screw kids and whatever, but it's kind of random that you realize how evil is out there, you know what I'm saying, and how like
Absolutely.
like some people is like really want to like, yeah, I'll just inject your father with heroin so he
Oh
becomes a
God.
heroin addict, and then I'll rape you, and then then we'll have kids, then your mother will accept us, and
Yeah.
like I
Then
have
they'll
never
have
like,
to.
and
Yeah.
this guy was talking on a live catch
Oh my
like this.
God. That's horrible.
I'm like, no, no, no,
Yeah. I know.
no,
These guys are sick.
I
No
no,
joke. They're sick.
no,
Yeah. Yep. It's
so
crazy.
sick.
Yep.
Anyways, I don't want to like, I don't want to keep you on the phone.
Oh
So,
no. I mean, we can
thank you
absolutely do this another
for
time though.
listening
I
to
would
me.
love it.
I hope, yeah, I really hope everyone like, it's just, I feel like my story was just a little bit different, I guess, than most.
No.
I
It's a
don't know.
different
I guess everyone's is
perspective.
unique.
It's a different perspective
Yeah,
and we love that. So,
yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. I thought maybe you'd appreciate that.
I
So
sure do.
I'm glad that got to voice that. I really hope my brother doesn't hear this.
Oh, I highly doubt. I'm not that big. I don't even have like 1,000 subs yet. Which
It's
reminds
all
me,
good.
sub.
He would never do that.
Oh yeah.
He's not the type.
I highly doubt. I highly doubt he'll find this.
That's like a 1 in a billion chance. It's like, I'm sure you have a better chance getting struck by lightning than
Yeah.
that occurring. So
Reds
I'm
don't
not too
usually
worried
find
about
our
it.
channels. They don't usually hang out in here.
Right. And to be honest with you, if he ever did, I'd be like, I'm a guy that's very much doesn't have too many friends because I'm so honest,
Right.
and a lot of people can't take that. So I
Eh.
always tell people, and I learned, and like, no matter what, people know where they stand with you. I will tell like a younger guy, I was like, always be honest with people. They may not like you, but they will respect you because they know where they stand with you. They may not like it,
Yes.
but they know where you stand and where you create a boundary. And eventually people will respect you for that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's absolutely right.
So,
That's how I feel too. Absolutely. I'm
yep.
not
When you,
harshly honest with people. I may sugarcoat some things. But
no,
like I
that's
said,
okay.
like
You're a sweet person. There's nothing wrong.
yeah.
I also like, if somebody was like, if somebody was a little overweight and they were like, do I look nice in this dress? I'm not gonna, you fat bitch.
Yeah.
you
No.
know,
Well, maybe
I'm
you should
not gonna,
wear something
I'm gonna
else.
say,
That's what I would
you look
say.
beautiful, girl. You look beautiful, girl.
No, I'm
That's
honest
what
when
I
it
would
comes
say,
to that kind of stuff because I would want somebody to be honest with me. You know what I mean?
for sure. Yeah, I'm also that way. But sometimes people can't. They can't be like, oh, I don't want to say, I, I'm always the guy that's just be like, no matter what you think of me, I would much rather you come up to me and say, hey, I hate Cheeky. I hate your guts because of a logical X, Y, and Z. And I'll be like, you know what? I'll shake your hand and be like, I thank you so much that you verbalized that to me. I realize that not everyone is going to get along. We all come from different places, different experiences, this and that and the other.
Right.
And I totally respect you. And I was like, I see that you don't like that. I can't help myself. This is the way I am. And yeah, I guess we can part ways or whatever like that. And I'll have a great conversation and end it there.
Right.
But as soon as somebody lies to me or does like, and I can't, I become like, oh, you piece of shit.
Yeah.
I would much rather you tell me off. It's like a girl that like leads a guy on and then doesn't want him or like plays with him. Like, it just like,
That
you piece of
infuriates
shit.
me.
Like,
Yeah.
just be a cordial, nice person. Just be like, thanks, but no thanks. That's
Right.
all you have to say.
Yeah.
Right? You don't have to go through the whole like, I want to hurt you, or you know what I'm saying, or like,
The revenge
I don't know.
cast. Yeah.
You know how people are, right?
Yeah.
People are nuts.
Yeah. Especially
So
women or girls, not women. Girls. Girls are mean.
I wonder why they're like that. Some of them.
I don't
I
know.
wonder what that is. Like, what at the core, what they're
It's
maybe they're like trying to
self-esteem.
pay
It's self-esteem issues
mm,
and jealousy.
self-esteem.
Absolutely.
Maybe. Do you also think like they want to like hurt, like they have like a vindictive nature towards like men in general,
Yes. We're spiteful. We can be. Not all of us, but
right?
we're
Like,
very
kind of
spiteful.
like men are all dogs. Men are all dogs. I'm gonna manipulate them. I feel like there's a few girls out there like men are all dogs. They just want one thing. So I'm gonna take them for what they're worth, and that's it.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Kind of
some of
thing.
them are. I mean, I don't run across those kind of girls, but I don't invite those kind of people in my life,
100%. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why I don't really. You guys are like a very much. I'm very much a loner. I have my own issues, right? I cry every day. I'm a depressive. Very, when somebody cries I don't watch TV shows. I don't watch movies because when Bambi gets hurt or Bambi cries, Cheeky cries.
Cheeky
And then
cries.
Cheeky has nightmares. Yeah, Cheeky cries and Cheeky gets nightmares, and I can't take it. So it's like,
Oh
we all
God,
have
you're
our
funny.
problems.
Cheeky
We're
cries.
all effed up.
I'm gonna start saying
Uh,
that to you. Cheeky cries.
Cheeky cries.
Cheeky
Cheeky's just a
cries.
little, yeah. I'm just a mommy's boy, really.
Aren't we all?
Uh, Yeah.
All right, sweetie.
It
Well, we
depends
have to do
if
this
you had a good
again.
mother.
We definitely have
Yeah,
to do this
definitely. I
again. You're
really thank you
hilarious.
for taking the time. Thank you so much. I'm a much better typer than I am a talker, I think.
Right? I
I
am
talk
too.
mad shit. I talk mad shit.
That's okay. I like it.
I figure it's humor for the chat,
Yeah.
something for someone to laugh at. That's all. That's all I mean. I mean well.
I know.
If you're laughing at the chat because I'm bizarre, that's exactly my intention.
Right?
So
That's all I
some people
wanted.
just need to laugh.
That's
Yep,
right.
that's all I wanted.
Damn straight.
All right, I will talk to you later. I don't know if you're going to continue, but I'll be in the chat.
Alrighty. All right. Thank you so much. Have a good night, sweetie.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Oh my goodness. I just can't do it. My throat is killing me. Okay, guys. My kid's giving me the old get the fuck out kind of issue here. So it's late, It's like 11:30. I got to let him go to bed now. I did want to update you, and I will update the Nightbot as well. I did get a PO box, and so I know that like JT was gonna send me a shirt, and then I had a couple other people that wanted to send me some stuff. So I did get a PO box just so we could make that happen. I will put that in the Nightbot. Or if you ever need anything to get a hold of me in any way, you know where to find me usually. You can always email me, get me on Discord, whatever have you. Thank you so very much for hanging out with me. I love you all. And I will see you tomorrow. I really appreciate, thank you so much again, Jay Crandall. Thank you, Cheeky Chops, for coming in. I really, really love to hear you guys, your stories and everything. You guys are so inspirational. I cannot thank you enough for coming and for being here and being so courageous as to share your life and your tragedies and your traumas. I can't breathe. Oh my gosh. All right, you guys, I'm going to go. You have a wonderful night. I will see you tomorrow.